A Limited, having a nominal capital of rupees 20 lakh in equity shares of rupees 100 each, invited applications for 10,000 shares payable as under. On application, 25 have to be paid. Let me select a different color. Yeah. On application 25, on allotment 35, on first call 20, and on second and final call it is 20. The company received application for 9,000 shares. All the applications were accepted. All the monies dues as stated above were received with the exception of the second and final call on 200 shares. These shares were forfeited and reissued as fully paid at rupees 90 per share. You have to pass the necessary entries including the cash entries in the books of the companies. Now to understand this, we'll open a small table. The company has issued how many shares? They have issued 10,000 shares, but out of 10,000 they have received the request only for 9,000 shares. Since application is received only for 9,000 shares, all our calculation will be focusing only on this 9,000 shares. Okay, so now we'll prepare a small table. That is, we have to know what is the amount that is due and what is the amount that is actually received. Okay, on application, what is the amount that is due? What is the due on application? So we have that information. On application it is 25, allotment 35, first and final call 2020. Okay, so we'll write that on application it is rupees 25 that is due. On allotment, what is the amount that is due? On allotment it is 35 per share. Then on first call, amount due is 20, and on the second and final call, the amount due is 20. So in this way this 100 have to be collected. Okay, but this is per share. Okay, this is amount per share. So what we'll have is, we'll find what is the amount due. How do you find that? You have to multiply the number of shares subscribed with this per share value. That is, I'll call this as column A, this is going to be column B, I'll call this as column C, is nothing but column B into 9,000. Okay, so 25 into 9,000 is going to be 2,25,000. This is the amount that is due, and whether that amount is received, yes, that amount is received, because there is pending only with respect to the final call. So column D, that is amount received, is also 2,25,000. we don't have any issue over there. It means you don't have any excess here and you don't have any shortage, or put it rightly, you don't have any arrears also. Okay, then moving on to the second one, the amount due is 35 into 9,000, 3,15,000. This is the amount due, and here also you don't have any issue, that was received. Okay, so there is no excess, there is no arrears. In first call it is 9,000 into 20, that is 1,80,000, and the amount received is also 1,80,000. there is no excess, there is no arrears. Then finally we have the final call, which is 20 on 9,000. it is 9,000 into 20, which is 1,80,000. but here alone we have a small information, that is, with respect to the final call, that was not received on 200 shares. On 200 shares this 20 was not received. So what was the amount? That is 4,000 was not received with respect to the final call. So the amount that is due is 1,80,000, but what is received is only 1,76,000. Okay, so you don't have any excess, but you have an arrears of 4,000. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll total this. If you total this, how much should have been received? That is 9 lakh, but what was actually received is 8,96,000. Okay, and there is a shortage. You don't have anything excess, but you have a shortage of 4,000. So understand, this 9 lakh would have been credited to the share capital, and this 8,96,000 would have been received, but due to some 200 shares there is a forfeiture, so that have to be taken care. So let's go step by step. Let's first pass accounting entry for the share application money that was received, which is 25, then the conversion to share capital. So I'll put the entries in short forms. Okay, first is a receipt of share application money. When share application money is received, entry would have been bank account debit to share application money account, and that would have been received on 9,000 shares at 25 per share. So the entry is this, and the amount is 2,25,000, what we have seen in the table. Now what will happen, this 2,25,000 will get transferred to share capital account. So it is going to be share application money account debit. It is getting transferred to share capital, so I'll put it in short form to SC, that is to share capital account. It is 2,25,000, right? So this is about the share application money. Then there was a share allotment, that was 35, which is 3,15,000. So we'll put that here. The third entry is bank account debit to share allotment. I'll just write it as SA, to share allotment account, and it is 3,15,000, 3,15,000. Then the fourth one, this share allotment will get transferred to share capital. So debit share allotment account debit, okay, I mean share allotment account debit to share capital account. It is 3,15,000. What comes next? We should focus on the first call. So what is the due amount? Let's capture from the table. The first call due is 1,80,000, and that is received also. Okay, so it is let me put that, yeah, bank account debit, okay, or put it rightly, before receipt there will be a due entry. Okay, as far as the calls are concerned, there will be a due entry first, then only there will be a receipt entry as far as the allotment and the first call, final call. So even here, if you look into the share allotment and share capital, this entry will come first. So I'll just change the sequence. This should be 3. I mean, first the due entry will be passed, then the shareholders will be reminded to make the payment, then comes the realization. Okay, then you will have the fourth entry. Similarly here, there will be due entry with respect to the first call. Okay, so I'll put that equity first call account debit, and we have seen the amount was 1,80,000. okay, to share capital account 1,80,000. So in this way share capital is created. Then there is going to be a receipt, that I'll put it here. There is going to be a receipt, that is bank account debit to equity first call account. So your equity first call money is received. Then we'll go to the seventh one, that is the second and the final call. We'll pass the due entry, equity second and final call account debit. And what was the amount? What did we had? The amount, due amount is 1,80,000. So let me put that the due amount is, again it is 1,80,000, and credit will go to share capital account 1,80,000. okay, then you are going to have a realization, but look at here, the realization is only 1,76,000. Okay, so we'll write the realization, that is bank entry, bank debit, bank account debit is 1,76,000. Then you will have to equity second and final call, which is 1,76,000. So this means here you have a difference. You should have received 1,80,000, but what you have received is only 1,76,000. It means there is a shortage. So that shortage is 4,000. So that should be debited to calls in arrears account. So entry is calls in arrears account debit, and the amount is 4,000 to equity second and final call, to equity second and final call account 4,000. Okay, in this way we have now accounted for the calls in arrears as well. Now let's once again go back to the question. We need some more information on the shares forfeited. 200 shares were forfeited, and these are going to be reissued at 90 per share. And why they were forfeited? They were forfeited because the second and final call was not paid. So how much they have paid? This is the amount that was paid, and this is the amount which is unpaid. That is on 200. On 200 shares, this 20 was not paid. Okay, so this is the amount which is in arrears, which was 4,000, whereas the amount that was paid is 200 into 18. Okay, so 16,000. It was this 16,000 which will go into the forfeited shares account. So we'll write them. Yeah. So we have passed all the entries. Now we'll pass the entry related to forfeiture. So we'll have the entry number 10. See, when it comes to forfeiture, we had the information it is 200 shares, of which arrears is 20, whereas what is paid, okay, arrears is 20 and what is paid is 80. So 80 into 200 is going to be the amount that is going to land in share forfeiture account, and this is the calls in arrears. But the point you have to notice, you don't have any uncalled portion. It means entire 100 were credited to the share capital account. So entire 100, that is 200 into 100, this entire 20,000 was credited to share capital account. Now we have to cancel that by debiting. Okay, so share capital account debit should be this 20,000. Okay, now we have to cancel the earlier calls in arrears debit. So 2 calls in arrears account, and what is the value? It is going to be 20 into 20. Okay, so the value is going to be 4,000, and 2 shares forfeited. What is the value of shares forfeited? We have that it is 16,000. Okay, so in this way we have captured the information related to share forfeiture, and we have to mention the board resolution details in the narration. Okay, now after forfeiture, what happens is the company goes ahead with the reissue of the forfeited shares. Okay, so how many shares were forfeited? 200. At what price it is going to be reissued? The price at which it is going to be reissued is 90. Okay, that's the information we have in the question. So you are going to realize 18,000. But please note, in this 200 shares, already 80 were realized. Okay, so how much you are supposed to actually realize in this 200 shares at the face value? What is supposed to be realized is only 20,000. Out of this 20,000, already some amount has been realized, that is 16,000, and that is parked in forfeited shares account. Okay, so we have amount already realized, that is forfeited 16,000. So what is required for us as a balance is only 4,000. Okay, but already 16,000 is realized, and now another 18,000 is going to be realized because of new issue. But from this 18,000, only 4,000 should go to capital. So 16 plus 4, you will have 20,000. Okay, it means there is a balance amount of 14,000. What is this 14,000? This is nothing but capital reserve. Okay, so this 14,000 is nothing but capital reserve. So what is going to be the entry when you make a reissue of forfeited shares at 90? You are going to get money. So bank account debit, which is 200 into 90, which is 18,000. Okay, that's fine. Now when you reissue forfeited shares, what happens is your capital will now again go back to 20,000. Okay, how it is going back to 20,000? Because already you had money of 16,000 in the name of forfeited share, and another 4,000 that had come in the form of a new issue. It means you want to credit your share capital by 20,000. So I'll leave one line gap and I'll write to share capital, that is SC, to SC. I want to give a credit of 20,000, but where will I find the debit for this 20,000? 16,000 is available in the form of forfeited shares account, because already I have transferred something from capital to forfeited share. Now I will bring back that. Okay, so entry is forfeited shares account debit 16,000. Okay, now out of this 20, 16 is taken care from here. Okay, remaining 4 is taken care from here. It means you still have another 14,000. That's what we calculated here. And what is this 14,000? This is basically a capital reserve. So to capital reserve account, to capital reserve account, and the amount is 14,000. So now both sides you have 34,000, and you can give a narration saying being 200 forfeited shares were reissued at 90 as per board resolution, and profit on reissue, this is called as profit on reissue, were transferred to capital reserve account.
Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you like this lecture. If you wish to learn more on the areas related to this topic, check our comprehensive course. I have shared the details and link in the description below. Click sign up and enroll. I'll see you inside the course.